Wanaka is a picture-perfect place to visit with that tree, waterfalls, stunning lakes, incredible mountains, and so much more. It's unmissable. Let me show you how to spend 24 hours in this amazing place. Wanaka is about a 70-minute drive from Queenstown. There are two ways to go, either over the Crown Range or the way we are going, along State Highway 6. I've been to Wanaka a few times, but one place I've always wanted to go is the Wanaka Lavender Farm. As the name suggests, it has 20 acres of beautiful lavender fields, plus farm animals and other display gardens. The entrance is through the gorgeous boutique shop and cafe which sells all things lavender. The farm is open all year round and costs $15 in peak season or $7 the rest of the year. The best time to visit is from December to February. We were there at the end of November and the lavender was only just starting to bloom. But I'm a bit of a garden lover, so I couldn't wait to explore the farm, particularly on a beautiful day like today. Exiting the shop, you enter the farm itself and get your first smell of the lavender with circular rows to walk through. Besides the lavender, there's plenty of manicured gardens to check out which are growing many different varieties of plants, lots of beautiful flowers, as well as herbs, fruits and vegetables. Strolling down the hill, the farm opens up and you will eventually come upon the never-ending rows of lavender. And while the lavender hadn't quite bloomed, it's still a spectacular sight. The surrounding mountains also creates a stunning backdrop. Make sure that you check out the famous purple door which sits amongst the rows of lavender. We did find some lavender in full bloom which looked beautiful. Everything is a lavender colour here, even the tractors. The fields and gardens are large enough to accommodate quite a number of guests, so there's still plenty of room for everyone, which was great. The farm also has lots of different farm animals, which are so cute. There's miniature horses, sheep, and pigs. Through the lavender tunnel to the other side of the farm, you'll find goats, which are my favourite, alpacas, and a gorgeous Highland cow. Most of the animals have come here to retire, which is so nice to hear. Of course, there's lots more lavender too. I would definitely add the Wanaka Lavender Farm to your list of must-see things while you're in Wanaka. Before heading into town, we decided to do the 1-hour drive out along State Highway 6 to visit a few waterfalls in Mount Aspiring National Park. This scenic drive takes you through spectacular countryside with steep green fields to the left and Lake Hawea on your right. I'm probably saying that wrong. Surrounded by mountains, Lake Hawea is New Zealand's 9th largest lake and stretches 35 kilometres from north to south. Eventually the roads get a bit windy as you head up to what's known as the Neck, which is a narrow area of land separating Lake Hawea and Lake Wanaka. As you pass through the Neck, you are greeted with magical views of Lake Wanaka. Be warned, even if it's a clear day in Wanaka, as you head to Mount Aspiring National Park, the weather can change very quickly. I think every time I've been here it has rained. The first waterfall to stop at is the pretty Fantail Falls. It's a short 2-minute walk from the car park to the Haast River. Then across the rocks, dodging all the rock piles to view this gorgeous waterfall which stands at 23 metres tall. From Fantail Falls, it's a short 7-minute drive to the next waterfall, Thunder Creek Falls. A 5-minute walk through lush rainforest leads to a platform with spectacular views of the waterfall. Thunder Creek Falls, which gets its name from the creek that feeds it, stands at a whopping 28 metres. The water appears to emerge from the forest above, plummeting down a cliff that is covered in thick green lush vegetation into a pool below, and eventually into the Haast River, which roars past it. It's one of New Zealand's most spectacular waterfalls. One place I really wanted to check out is the fairly secretive gorge at Wilson's Creek, which is located just before Fantail Falls. I've seen incredible photos of it on social media and wanted to see it for myself. Unfortunately, I didn't come properly prepared as it involves a waist-deep creek crossing and the water is freezing. So this is as close as I was prepared to go, but even from here it offers a tantalising taste of what lies around the corner. Maybe next time I can get there. We made it to Wanuka and headed to the famous Wanuka tree, but the weather wasn't great and there was no chance of a decent sunset that night. So instead we headed off for dinner to Big Fig on Ardmore Street. It's really popular with locals offering a range of hot food and salads. I highly recommend it. The next morning the weather had cleared and we headed to the Wanaka tree for sunrise. We were greeted with the full moon setting behind the mountains with the tree in the foreground. We couldn't believe our luck. With the moon setting and the sun about to rise, we waited to see if there'd be any colour, and right on cue. After a fantastic sunrise shoot, it was time for breakfast. The place I would recommend is Scroggin Coffee and Eatery. It's also located on Ardmore Street. I love the relaxed atmosphere here. It's got great coffee and delicious food. For those who don't know, Ardmore Street is one of the main thoroughfares in Wanaka and is lined with shops, restaurants and great cafes. On a perfect day like this, we couldn't resist a walk along the foreshore. Lake Wanaka is 45 kilometres long and covers 193 square kilometres. It is surrounded by the mountains of Mount Aspiring National Park at its north end, while the town sits at the southern end. The foreshore is lined with large willow trees and walking tracks. The lake is perfect for boating, sailing, kayaking, and if you're brave enough like this pooch, even a swim. This jetty, which was being enjoyed by some of the locals, is the perfect vantage point to take in the entire lake with the mountains off in the distance. Keen to get my steps in, we decided to walk along the shoreline in the direction of the Wanaka tree. It's a gorgeous walk through the tall poplar trees that frame views of the lake and give a different perspective of the Wanaka tree. It didn't take us long to reach the walking track leading down to the tree. Unfortunately, in March 2020, the Wanaka tree was vandalised with the bottom two branches being sawn off, so it's important to heed the signs. Photographing the Wanaka tree is on most landscape photographers' bucket lists, so it's almost guaranteed there will be people at the tree throughout the day taking photos. In springtime, bushes of yellow lupins grow at the base of the poplar trees, which creates a nice foreground element. I've been lucky enough to photograph the tree at different times of the year. Here are some of those photos so that you can see it in different seasons and different lighting conditions. With our time in Wanaka finished, it was time to head north to Aoraki, Mount Cook. If you want to see my video of my time in Mount Cook, you can watch it here and I'll put a link below. But along the way, there are a couple of great places to stop that I recommend that you check out. The first is the Lupins Pass, which is a stunning mountain pass with an awesome lookout. With grass-covered mountains, it makes for a really unique landscape, unlike anywhere else in New Zealand, and definitely worth the stop. Through the Lupins Pass and just on the other side of the town of Omarama is the Ahuriri River Conservation Area, which during springtime is filled with lupins. I have a video on the best spots to see lupins on the South Island and you can watch it here and I'll put a link below. Finally, one place I've never visited but always driven past are the Clay Cliffs, which is not far from the Ahuriri River Conservation Area. Even though it's on private land, people can visit it. There's a donation box at the gate where you can pay the $5 per vehicle. The Clay Cliffs are tall pinnacles separated by narrow ravines and quite a unique sight. They are made up of layers of gravel and silt, originally formed by the flow from ancient glaciers over 1 million years ago. There is a short path that leads up to the cliffs. Unfortunately, with a Mount Cook scenic flight to catch later that afternoon, we didn't quite make it to the top. But what we did see was truly spectacular. If you're visiting in spring, there are plenty of lupins around the cliffs and back down at Ahuriri River, which runs beside the cliffs. I hope you enjoyed this guide to Wanaka, and if you want to see more spectacular sights of New Zealand, check out my playlist that I will link below. And if you want to learn how to take amazing travel photos for yourself, I will link my complete guide to landscape photography course below as well. Thanks for watching!